an ideal logic. 5 years old, combi ESP135, tripping the electrics. So when you've got a boiler tripping the electrics, you're generally looking for a 240 volt component that's plain off, whether it be water ingress into it, fans, gas valves, diverter valves, pumps. You're normally looking at those. So hasn't been coming through it. Okay. So the boiler's firing the lights in straight away. Right, we're going to run through all our preliminary electrical checks first and foremost, just to eliminate those. Make sure everything's okay there. So we've got our live dead check, short circuit check, polarity check and earth check. So we shall do those. So we're just checking the resistance of this boiler. It's always important to test your leads first. So touch your two probes together. We've got a reading of 1.2 ohms. So we're just going to check the earth on this boiler now. So we're going to go for an earth pin on the fuse spurt to the earth inside the boiler and to 5 points inside the boiler if we can find them. It's a bit hard with the case all painted because it's going to be bare metal. And the reading should be no more than 1 ohm. 1 ohm resistance. So if we've got leads at 1.2, then our reading should be no more than 2.2. It can be below 2.2, it can be 1.4 still, but it should be no greater than 1. Earth pin 1.6. Check what your leads are. 1.3. Earth resistance can be no more than 1 ohm. Okay, that's fine. Okay. 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 Fuse is out. Live to neutral. 22 kilo ohms, that's fine. Live to earth. That's fine. Okay. Back to the voltage, check polarity, neutral to earth. Right to neutral. It's okay. Okay, have you had to top it up recently? No. Your pressure's quite high. It's on 2 bar, like it's cold pressure, if you know what I mean. I'm going to drop a bit out. I've just done all the electrical checks on the boiler to rule out like any outside interference with the boiler, if you know what I mean. And sometimes you can have a fault that you think's boiler related and it's not, it's actually electrical supply and so on and so forth. So I'm just going to drop a bit of pressure out, so that should be down just above the 1, I would say, and I'll check the expansion pressure. I'm guessing you've had a problem with that then?
Yeah, that's what it was, and I think that's where we were topping it up.
And what did he do? Did he replace it or recharge it?
Just recharge
it. I'll double check that. Drop some pressure down on it because it seems a bit high. Because obviously, as you increase in temperature, the pressure gauge is going to go up. So as water increases in temperature, increases in pressure and volume. So if you're already at 1 bar, it's not leaving you much movement before you start hitting 3 bar and then activating your pressure release valve. So I'm guessing you was losing pressure outside, constantly going through that sequence of topping up. Yeah. Okay, right, I'm just going to drop a bit of pressure out there. Then I have to run it for 40 minutes till it fails, basically, and then...
It was 40 degrees on the thing, not 40 minutes, I think. I think it was like 10-15 minutes.
So it's 10-15 minutes.
Yeah,
that's even better. Yeah. That's even better for me, because I don't want to be standing 40 minutes waiting for it to fail.
Yeah,
I want it to fail. It's hard because your boiler's kind of working. So I flicked it on, it fires up, it works straight away. So it's kind of telling you the pump is functioning, the gas valve is functioning, and the fan is functioning. It's more than likely going to be one of these 3 components that's causing it to trip, because they're all 240 volt components. You've got a spark generator as well, but it's rarely a spark generator after a period of time. So if it's your spark generator, usually as soon as it receives voltage, it goes off. These kind of things, these have, you know, they modulate down, so they adjust as the boiler's working. So your pump has got like PWM on it, pulse width and modulation. So what that does is that slows down as the system heats up. Pump slows down with the demand and the temperature on the system. Same with the fan. The fan has got the same device on it, PWM, pulse width and modulation. That slows down. So these 2 components have got circuit boards that will also adjust, so that modulates as well. They all kind of work together. It's more than likely going to be one of them. Yeah. It's at the point where I've just checked to see if there's any resistance readings from the manufacturers they can give me to solve the problem quickly. Mm-hmm. There's not. So it's a matter of running the boiler till the electric trips. Theoretically, the boiler will be at a certain temperature. So when the boiler, if I can get it to come back on straight away without tripping, then the pump and the gas valve and the fan will kind of be at the same state already. We're already at the same temperature. We need to get back down to the same movement, the same speed. Yeah. So in theory, it should trip again straight away. So it's going to be a matter of disconnecting one at a time until we can get the boiler to stay on. All right.
Yeah, cool.
thereabouts. Just give that a little top up. All still running. Really want this boiler to trip the electrics and it's a fault mode. Nothing worse than waiting for the boiler to fail. The boiler's in modulation right now. As you can see, at 81 degrees. It's the NTC that's controlling this boiler. The NTC will read the temperature, send the readings back to the circuit board, and the pump, fan and gas valve will adjust accordingly. Okay, so we're just running hot water now and see if that makes a difference. Water's running.
Do it for me. If turn downstairs on for now, that'll see if it gives it for a minute and I can turn the upstairs up. Or do you want both up?
One of them's already on. Something's calling for heat.
That's probably the downstairs because the downstairs had dropped to about 17 before I turned it on just. Let's try it. Oh, let's turn. Upstairs up to 24, see if that. Bugger is they're both on the same schedule, so it doesn't tell me which one, you know, from the time you did it.
But it looks like it's opened because the temperature's dropped now. So the upstairs valve will have opened now. That should start going back down now. You should start hitting the fan speed up again because it will go through the upstairs circuit. There you go. Turn them both off, please, and then give it 5 minutes. We'll turn them both back on again.
Yep, okay, that's turned down.
Obviously, I want to eliminate those parts because if you do end up with the manufacturer call, they won't touch them.
Yeah.
It'll just be boiler only. How many years warranty did you have? You lived here from new?
From the
So because these normally have quite a long warranty on that. If it's 2 years or so a lot of these you can get 10-year warranties on these boilers.
I think I had paperwork.
Yeah.
There you go. Sounds like it's stopping. More stopping.
Something's still on. No, yeah. Heating circuit's still on, look.
Interesting.
As soon as I turn this boiler on, it fired for heating.
Interesting. So
Could be you've got a faulty zone valve then.
yeah, because that one's set to 17, that one's set to 16 at the moment, so the thermostat shouldn't be calling for it. Unless, you know, we fit it in ourselves, it could be like that. Oh, mate. It was literally the same wires.
Let's have a look in your...
But the heat
Have you got an airing cupboard with these two zone valves? Can I have a look in there?
Yeah, of course you can.
And I'll check the voltage in there, and it may potentially be you've got a faulty zone valve that's sticking on now. That could possibly have caused an issue to start with. I would have expected to keep doing it now if I'm honest with you, but if something's faulty on the system, you've got to work with what you've got.
Oh, yeah.
And it'll kind of have a process of elimination. Alright.
Yeah, that's cool.
Let's come and have a look at this these stats and that. So, okay, I'm just going to test these. Sounds like one of these is pushing, sending voltage out. If I'm honest with you, they're not the best of valves anyway. I've had loads of problems with these. It's sounding like one's sending the voltage out still without a demand from yourself, and then that bypass is opening there now. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So there's nothing on the switches. Power coming in, so we'll pull one of them orange wires out. See which zone valve's playing up. I hate it when I do that. Twist two wires together, so when you pull it out, it pulls two wires out and you can't. Okay. Well, as you can see, that one's faulty, so that's the back wire. That back wire there goes down to this front valve here, so that's faulty. Because if you watch, in a minute, you got water in there.
Yeah.
So you need a complete new zone valve on there, I'm afraid. You got water coming out the spindle there, look.
Yeah.
So, good possibility that that's what was causing it to trip the other day. It may be that it's got to be in a certain position for a certain amount of time for water to travel down and get it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we've still got a drain point open downstairs.
Yep.
We crack this now. That should. There we go, that's draining down. Right. Hoping that's going to drop down in a minute. See how throwing, look, quite solid that's run down there.
Yeah.
So that means when you're undoing the nut, you can't spin the nut up. You're relying on the fitting to go down, if that makes sense.
Yeah. try and move the aircon? So you got
No, I'll be alright, mate. I'm used to banging my head and my arms into stuff.
I don't want to get too injured.
Right, I'll just get over a fractured pelvis, so...
Jesus, what were you doing to get that?
Fell off my mountain bike. On a mechanic chase.
How long did that take to recover from?
I've done it 20th of November. I haven't had a day off, to be honest with you. I just went back to work.
Took it careful.
It's not actually the pain of the fracture that's hurt me. It's done something to like my hip and my pelvis on the opposite side. So like my ball joint for some reason doesn't move properly now. And it's like catching on a nerve. Like over Christmas, never felt so much pain in my life. Normally I have like a directional flow on the side of the valve, same as that one does there.
Oh yeah.
Most of them go on. This one hasn't got one on. In theory, it doesn't make a difference which way you put it because it's only gonna flow through. However, I'm going to fit it so the flow goes through that way. And if you can see that, so it's pushing against something rather than towards it. So what I'm doing is, if you see that float there,
yep,
all that does is move that way slightly and that way. Okay?
Yep.
So these, it's not uncommon for these to start passing. So as in, it's shut off, but a little water, a bit of water is passing through.
Yep.
The water's going to pass easier if it's pushing against and finding a gap rather than pushing onto something, if that makes sense. Yeah. So it's like me pushing a door open that's meant to go open, or pushing a door that's meant to come towards me, if that makes sense. So there'll be more reason. So I'm going to do it that way. There's no right or way wrong with heating. You can call me what you want. But that's the way I'm doing it.
You're the expert in it.
Well, I wouldn't say I'm an expert. I've watched a few YouTube videos and learnt a few phrases, they say. That's about it. So that's on there.
Oh, you're currently teaching me.
The thing with central heating systems, you see that many weird jobs of stuff that people have put in, but it works. So you can't really stand there and say the bloke doesn't know what he's doing, because you can put that many types of different systems in and they will work. That's where, you know, systems are designed. You dare to experiment, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But all this does, all the design of this is just to allow water flow through. So it's going to open and direct either way. But I just think this will give you a better performance. Should you get muck in the system and it fails to shut off, so that little piece of rubber inside there, that little rubber ball, as you can see it, there in that one, if you get shit in the system, it sticks to the rubber, so when it shuts, it doesn't fully shut off properly because there's bits of grit. So the electrics are off. Just double check. Always double check your electrics.
Yep.
Is that your cat?
Yeah, just not the mop over.
Someone's breaking in.
Well, the partner's just come back as well, so she'll be coming up shortly, but she can look after the cat's board. Yeah, the one of them just keeps walking along the
Right, so that's that one there. That's that one. That's our dead one at the back there. So we'll just cut that out of the way. Which will make it easier for us to reconnect. So we know that one's going in there. So what do you do for work?
software.
Software. I wish I could do that.
Yeah, it's what my dad used to do, and I kind of used to learn bits off him and followed him.
It's where the world is though now, isn't it? I mean, I don't really know nothing about computers. I wish I did.
Yeah, it's one of those I grew up around because Dad used to bring them home when he was programming. It was a fortunate break, really.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Successful.
Most of it. We haven't been past the shop. We weren't going to do a drive by, but we came back and we got out of breath in the next couple of days. I went to Dad's party stuff on Thursday. Then I couldn't get to the place.
What are you doing, Rose?
Are you being curious?
She wants to do some wiring for us later.
Yeah, man.
The cat. She was just sneaking up on you.
At least cats can't pinch your tools.
Oh, they try. Oh, they will.
My dogs would have had these tools by now. They'd have been up the back of the garden being chewed up.
Thankfully, they won't chew them. They just like to give them a sniff usually.
Come in the other week, late in the night. I come back to fetch a part. It was about 10 o'clock on the night, and I come in and put my keys down. The dogs had the keys, van keys. Took them up the back of the garden, and it was about 11 o'clock. We got to about 11 o'clock on the night, and I was out with a torch searching for them until I finally found them. This customer's on the phone saying, "Where are you, mate? I thought you said you was coming back." Is it a believable excuse though when you say to them, "Oh yeah, my dog stole my van keys"?
Not really.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Thankfully, cats just stick to their little toys. You just occupy them. They like to sniff anything you've left out. And if they knock them off over a minute ago, couldn't do it. Yeah, we didn't notice. We wouldn't have been smacked against the wall.
Pet hate, man. I'm gonna twist two wires together.
They've done it all across the box.
Yeah, everyone.
Yeah, when we replaced the thermostats, they've done the one where they hide one of the wires in the wall. So you kind of think you've got like just two wires to play with. You give it a bit of a tug to give yourself some leeway, and then the third wire appears, and you just kind of like, what's going on?
A spare was that?
Yeah.
Yeah, they generally leave spares. It's good that they do it because should you need to change programmer sometimes, or a thermostat, something like, you need possibly an extra wire. So it is good. So like when you convert nowadays from traditional programmers to say a nest or something, if they've left extra wires down to the program and just put them back in the back, it makes the job easy. If they haven't, you've got to work out, am I going to put this on a plug or am I going to wire it back to the hub?
Yeah, it was confusing me that. When you look at like the nest, the hive and all that, it's like some have 5, some have 2, some have 3. And you've got the open therm.
Yeah.
And the Today just was like, oh yeah, our app has all the instructions for you, so we just kind of went, yeah, fine, follow the instructions. And
yeah.
It worked fine.
If I'm honest with you, I think the nest is the better of them at the minute. That'll change, technology changes. There's loads of stuff you can buy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think we looked at the nest, it was just the fact we had to put the extra box in there, it reckoned. So it was just the Today I found was just like replace the thermostat, so I tried it.
Yours probably wouldn't have been, just trying to think. You've got thermostats, these use loaders. Probably wouldn't have been that bad, to be honest with you, yours. Looking at what you've got.
I'll be more brave next time.
Okay. So on both new valves on. Let's just check. Earth to permanent live. Nothing on the switches. Okay. Right, do you want to turn your zone 1? What's zone 1? Is it downstairs, upstairs?
Yeah, you could try each individually and figure it out.
Yeah, sounds like fun.
Do upstairs and turn upstairs on, there you go.
Okay, so upstairs is the one we've just changed.
Yeah, because that's
Okay.
And do you want to try the other one? There you go, let's turn upstairs off. There you go for the downstairs.
Okay. Okay, they're working properly now. Okay. Good to go.
Sweet.